Hello everybody, my name is Darius, and as you can see from the title, we are doing a boat restoration on a 1996 Sea Ray Rayder. This is a 14-foot boat, and before we get started, this is my first video. I got convinced to start doing some videos, and we're going to see how it goes, try to get a following. Maybe we can help each other through questions and answers, and just see how the whole process goes. So this boat I purchased from Indiana. It was listed for $1,600 and the price was reduced down to $1,200. And after negotiating with the guy for a couple days, I ended up getting it for $500. And this boat actually is in really good condition. The leather inside of it has no tears or anything, so as soon as I saw the pictures, I already knew that the body of the boat should be good. He told me that the cylinder 2 or 3 is low, and from turning the engine I was able to see that there is low compression on cylinder 2. So we went ahead and took the engine out, and I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys what I did to the boat so far and where we're at in the process. Let's go. Okay everybody, this is the boat. As you can see from the inside, everything is in really good condition. The fiberglass has only a couple small stretch marks that I saw in a couple places. Like I was talking about, look at the leather, everything, how soft it is. So I was able to get the idea that the boat was either garage kept or somebody had under some sort of cover. The boat came with a bimini top, no tears in the bimini top. All the seats, there's only one small tear on the middle chair, and aside from that, the whole thing is solid inside out. What we've been doing for the past couple days is, because I've only had the boat for about a week, so we took the motor out and really cleaned up the inside. I still have to do one more good thorough cleaning in the center, remove all the fuel, and then I want to go ahead and clean the edges. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do with these sides. I'm going to put the battery on the left side. The gauges and everything work. The fuel tank's shown that's got 3/4 of fuel in, so I'm sure that's going to be good for our motors. All the lights, the stern, everything works. The start. So what I did is I made sure that all my electrical was good on this motor. So at first I was getting 0 spark, and I've actually noticed that a bunch of people with these Mercury jet drives, or whatever you want to call them, they have had a lot of problems in not getting any spark from anything. And everyone always goes and starts getting stators and plugs and all that. The first thing you want to check is on the right side of the engine, behind the driver, there are going to be a yellow and black wire. Remove those yellow and black wire and see if you are then getting spark, because more than likely there's a safety switch that went bad, and that's all it is to fix your spark problem. So look into that if you have that problem, and it just might be a quick, easy fix for you. So cylinder number 2 was out of this boat, so we took it out and I started looking online for some engines. And if anybody knows, you can't find these engines anywhere. I didn't realize how hard it would be to get an engine for this. And then I came across one guy about 20 miles past Lake Cumberland who had a motor for sale. I get down there, I ended up staying longer down there talking and chatting with the guy. Really cool dude, big garage, has all type of crazy project, Harley Davidson combined with the K&M, handmade Ford Mustang out of fiberglass that he spent 5 years on. Just a really cool dude that taught me a lot of stuff about these motors and gave me insight about going to fix it. So I brought the motor home. I had good compression in all 3 cylinders. I knew that all my electrical on my motor is good, which everything from the 90 horsepower to the 120 horsepower is the same. The engine I got is actually 90 horsepower. When I removed it, I didn't realize that my spindle would be different. This one that is for the 90 has 15, and the bigger one for the 120 horsepower only has 13. So when I took it out, I was a little bummed out, realizing that this was a 120 engine, but the crazy part is that this guy sold me the motor, sold me this jet drive, for the 90 horsepower, and then sold me an extra 120 horsepower jet drive for $80. So I got everything for $80. I asked him why he's giving me the jet drives and everything, and dude just, I don't know, I guess he, through our conversation and everything, we had a lot of stuff in common, liked me, and he said just take everything and make use of it, sell it, and put it towards your boat. So I did that, and luckily, if he would not have given me this jet drive, I wouldn't have even been able to use the motor because the spindle wouldn't have fit. So we checked everything on here. I just put some tape so I didn't get no water in because I did sand it down, and I completely repainted it. And these are the motors that I got. This is the motor that I got from him. It is a 90 horsepower, and this is the motor that I pulled out, which cylinder 2 is bad. So I'm gonna be tearing this one down. I'm gonna use my flywheel because it has the newer stator and CDI box, and I'm using the starter off the old engine. So right now we're at the point where I took the drive out, cleaned the whole area up, repainted it, and now I got right here this rubber garment that I will be installing on the inside, and it goes right here, and then you have your top plate that mounts onto this and seals everything, and then you put the motor on top of the plate, which is held by 8 bolts. So we're in the process of now getting that glued on, and we're going to be moving forward and trying to get the drive put on today and try to get that motor, the donor motor, everything removed off of it, sanded down and painted, and we'll see how much we can get done today. And for anybody wondering what paint I use for this jet drive, I ended up using this Rust-Oleum wheel. It has fade resistant, no peel promise, and adhesion guarantee. And with these things, you know, they sit here and then the exhaust is just baffling around and they get super nasty and ugly. I sanded it, lacquer thinner cleaned it, and then I applied this, which goes on really, really well. And if there's any type of adhesion guarantee and no peel promise, that's exactly what we need for it. Now, for the plate for the reversal, I'm actually going to take this and sand it down. I'm gonna start with a 320 grit, work my way up all the way to 5,000. And if anybody knows me, I like chrome. So I'm gonna be shining this up and it's gonna look just like a mirror. I don't know if people have done it before, but as soon as I saw this piece of aluminum, that's the first thing that popped in my mind. So that's what I'll be doing with this. The gears and everything is very good. Everything spins good on the inside. The blade or nothing has any damage. I'm very happy with this drive. I haven't changed the gear oil in it. I will once I put it up. It's just going to be a little bit easier for me, and I don't want to make too much of a mess here. So the next step is for us to install this rubber garment, and to do so, I got this 100% silicone by Gorilla. So I'm going to be using it on the inside here to install it, and then once it's in place, I'm going to go around the edge on top and the bottom just for extra measure before I put the drive in. Let's put it on. So this is the bay. I'm going to do one more cleanup on it just to make sure I get it really, really clean. I'm super OCD about everything coming out perfect. This gas hose, we're going to end up changing to a newer one, make sure that it doesn't leave any residue or anything in there. The cables are good, everything's working as it should. The bilge pump works, the fan works for the hoses for the exhaust. I took all the glue around the bottom so we can reseal everything correctly. All these wires, I'm going to go through, make sure there's no tears or anything like that. Everything seems to be good, so I will be checking everything and covering it up nicely with some type of protection like this. And when you guys are installing this, please make sure to put silicone on the inside when putting it back in place inside here, because this is not perfectly flat. And although you are putting a lot of pressure from rubber and it will form to the body, just take the extra precautionary measure and go ahead and put your silicone around, inside and on the outside, top and underneath. So we're gonna go ahead and do that, and we'll get back with you once it's installed. We want to get this as clean as possible. Inside of this everywhere. Oh, I'm gonna need something long and short. We really want to get a very good seal around this, so take your time. Make sure you go around all the edges. Everything to be super, super sealed. And God, this stuff stinks. That's awful. Do you need to go around this many times? No. But I'm a perfectionist and I want it. That looks good. Very happy. Let's do the bottom side. All right, everybody, so we just installed the rubber. We siliconed it on top and bottom. We're gonna give it about another hour to dry. And until then, we got one thing that we need to get ready in preparation to put the drive back in. So right here, we're missing 1, 2, and 3 studs. And this stud is all the way out. I'm assuming that when they were taking the motor off, the top nut was tighter than the bottom, so we just pulled it out. So we're gonna take it off of this donor, which this is the 120 that was given to me, and then I have another 120 jet drive. So we're gonna take these 1, 2, and 3 out and install them on here, and then we're gonna be ready to put it up in there. Okay, so first one we're gonna try to take is this one off. If you can come here and hold this to where it doesn't move. That's tight. Let's go this way. Oh, God dang. Well, that one was tight. We're gonna put some grease oil. So now I need this one and this one. Right? Mm-hmm. See, this one don't have any. That's my thing, is how I'm gonna remove that one, because I got no space to. That's gonna be difficult as hell to get that one out without. I'm trying to think of how I could possibly do it, because I don't want to mess the threads up. I don't know if. Let me see. All right, everybody. So we encountered a small problem over here. We had enough space to put pliers on to get it off, which came off pretty easy. Same with this one over here. We're gonna be able to easily tighten it because there's enough space right here not to mess up the threads to put the pliers on. But with these two ones, we have literally not even 1/4 of an inch of space, and we're not gonna mess these threads up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this nut backwards on, and I'm gonna tighten it down to the top of this. I'm gonna put a spot weld on it so that way the nut doesn't come off. Take it off, and then I'm gonna be able to just grind off the weld, be able to unscrew it off, and then it'll still have its thread all the way to the top, and we should be good to go. So I'm gonna run over to the other property, pick up the welder, and do that real quick. All right, guys, I got my small little trusty welder over here, and I'm gonna go ahead and put the bolts upside down on 1, 2, and these two we're gonna be able to tighten with the tool, so I'm gonna be fine. So I just need to get 2 bolts, put upside down, tap weld them, take them off, install them, and then we can go from there. Alrighty, we got it. That's one of them. So I'm using the pliers still to break it. The weld is holding, but it gets to a point and me just trying to turn this is not enough power to take this off. So I'm using this to break it loose and then using that to be able to tighten it back. So even though I'm causing a little bit of damage on the thread, it's just one singular line, which I'll show you. But once we thread it back in, I'm gonna go all the way with the thread, with the bolt all the way down to the bottom, then go back up, and it's gonna be perfectly fine. There we go. And I do not have special tools or anything like that, so everything I'm using is just small random things I have around the house, and I'm trying to make everything work with what I got. But if it works, it works. Can't be upset when stuff work out. Alrighty, very nice. And now we tighten the bolt down. And we're going to go with the bolt all the way to the bottom so we can fix that little groove that we messed up slightly. And when we come back up with it, it'll be perfect. Come back up with it. I'm going to go get a grinder and grind the top off very nicely. And by the time I grind this off to come back through, we'll have a perfect thread from bottom all the way to the top. This is a poor man's way of doing it. Unless somebody has other ideas or ways of doing it that I've never done, and just leave it in the comments, and I will absolutely try it. Alright guys, I'll be back once we get these cleaned up. And as you're coming up with the bolt, just go back and forth a couple times, just to make sure you're creating a nice good groove. Okay, I'm going to take it all the way off and to be able to hold it from the center. Just wanting to be a little bit aggravating, but we'll get it fixed up here soon. Let's see how this one does real quick. Okay guys, so this is how it's technically supposed to be. So after we tighten it in, I grinded the top off and take it all the way down, and when you're coming back up, it just regrooves everything very nicely. So we're going to do the same thing to this one that we took off, but we're going to just take it off and we're going to put this part on the bottom after we regroove it. So it'll come out just like that one. Okay guys, so I ended up just leaving the stud in here, and I went ahead and regrooved it back down, and now I'm bringing it back up. And for the moment of truth, to see if That's easy. Way better than last time. I must have, when I went around and grinded off the edge, I must have not went far enough on the edge and it was catching and wouldn't let it come up. So this side, I just grinded it down, ran the nut up and down a few times, and now we should be good to go. We'll see the outcome once. And there you go, guys. Look at that. Beautiful. Very, very pleased. That one's tightened down. This one's tightened down. Cleaned up a little bit right here. And I'm thinking about putting a little bit of silicone, just a little bit, when we put it up. Just for an extra layer of protection. And it's not going to be sticking out or anything. And I'll show you what the people previously did on this one. They went around. Now, somebody explained this to me. Why would you go around and caulk everything like this all the way on the outside, give me 3 hours of work trying to take all this silicone off, when the only place you can leak water is right here, or in the back where you got your two, your directional and your forward and reverse. But yeah, guys, we're gonna, oh yeah, one more thing, another big blessing. So aside from this plastic garment that I was able to save off the other one, which looks like brand spanking new, we have right here, if I can get to it, a seal in perfect condition. Now, there's only one difference from the 90 force to the other one. If you can see right here, the 90s have these two holes. These two holes which lead to these hoses. And on top of your motor, on your plate, you have two hoses. One that goes on the left and one that goes on the right. And what that's made for is that when you're in motion driving forward, it actually sucks up the water that's in under your engine and shoots it out through here. And it goes straight out the exhaust. Just in case you guys didn't know, that's pretty cool. That's what this does. So I don't have to do anything to this. I'm just gonna leave it as is. I was gonna go around and cut it and trim it, but there's no, it's not like it's gonna affect the flow of anything. So I'm just gonna leave it like that. This gasket's like brand new. I'm gonna put a little bit of sealer on it and should be good to go. But yeah, we're gonna try to attempt to put this in tonight. I'm gonna see if the wife will help me. I gotta lift the boat up to get the drive put under and then drop the boat back down so I can use the jack to lift it up, because I will be pretty much working by myself on this. I was supposed to have some help, but unfortunately they were not able to make it today. But yeah, guys, I'm very excited. That's looking really, really good in there. And I can't wait to show the plans of what I have envisioned to do with this. And hopefully you guys like it and enjoy the whole process of me going around and trying to fix this boat up. Hopefully we'll have a video coming soon of us trying to take it on a test drive. Get this cleaned up real quick. Bolts are all good. Get the gasket put on and attempt to put it on. And this is the goal for the day, is to get this drive put on. And if I can do that, then we can go ahead and start taking all the electrical and everything off of the donor engine, get it painted. Everything's already been compression tested. Everything's good with it. And then take everything off, the electrical off of this, check it all over, make it look nice, put some electrical tape, some, what's it called, the wire guard on it, and then set it back in there, rebuild the carburetors, and hopefully this thing will start. All right, everybody, so we got the bolts installed on the drive. Everything's ready to go with this. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to install the drive today because our silicone is still drying, and I don't want to go ahead and put it in there and take a chance of moving something around and the silicone just losing its whole purpose of keeping everything sealed. So until then, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and paint the top cover, which holds the drive. We're going to go ahead and paint it with VHT engine enamel, high gloss, and we're going to go ahead and use this because our engine is going to be sitting directly on top. This is your exhaust port. This is where your spindle comes up to the drive. So we're gonna use this, and always make sure everything you remove off, put it in a bag, label it so you know where it goes. Here we have our cable holders, which go right here. And then we have our brass fitting that connects to the side of the engine, which lets the water flow through. So for the rest of this video, just enjoy me painting it. And if you guys like and enjoy what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, feel free to subscribe and leave a like. Thank you. One thing when you're painting the first coat, always try to paint it as light as possible. And the reason you want to paint it as light as possible is that way it sticks and your next coat will be able to adhere a lot better. Alrighty guys, so it's been about 30 minutes. First coat is dried. Now we're gonna go with the second coat, and we're gonna go a little bit heavier. I always like to do my edges first. That way it allows me to do a nice finish on all the flat surfaces. And take your time. You don't have to rush. You don't have to put it too thick. You'd rather want to put an extra coat or two instead of just putting it on thick, it not drying up, causing some random effect. And then I'm going to go one time this way. Look at that, guys. Beautiful. We're going to let it dry, and I'm going to put one more coat on it just to be safe. Alright guys, it's only been about 15 minutes this time. I wanted the paint to still be slightly tacky when I apply my third coat. The first coat, we want to put a light coat everywhere. Make sure we have adhesion. The second coat, we put a little heavier. It's dry to the touch, but slightly tacky. I can touch it and run my hand, but now we're going to go ahead and put the last and final coat, and then we'll do a little walk around and show you how it turned out. And when I'm done, I like to go one more time over everything, make sure I don't have any drier or wetter paint for it to look a little bit weird in any areas. Just nice, quick, light coat. Just like that. We're done. Alright guys, here's the finished product. As you can see, the paint is very flat and shiny. It's not the paint work. It's just that this is all aluminum and it's a little ripply, if you know. This is how it came out. This is the plate that holds the drive up. We went ahead and masked around where the spindle goes. This is the exhaust port. And we went ahead and taped up all the bolts to get as nice of a finish as possible. Beautiful, guys. I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.